Well, we know what the motive was. The motive was to kill as many people as possible, and that's what he was aiming for. So, and what we know about him, so not much. I mean, it's still coming out right now, except that what we do know is that he had been posting videos and other social media posts that were very violent, and he posted photos of himself where he was holding a gun. And we also know that he obtained the assault rifle that he used to kill all those people legally. So that's a problem.
And I understand it was a carefully planned attack, with the shooter even thinking beforehand about where he should stand to get an advantage, for example.
Right. That's the thing about mass shooters that I think people are missing. It's not a random event, and it's not something they just decided one day, oh, I'm going to go out and kill a bunch of people. This is something that he'd been thinking about for a long time and planning every detail, from what time, where would he find a crowd at, where he should stand, what kind of an assault rifle, what kind of large capacity magazine, caliber of bullets, that kind of thing. So every single detail has been planned. And we can see, at least going back to September of 2021, that he was already hatching a plot to kill as many people as possible. And also, it seemed like he originally planned to have a suicide by cop, where the police would shoot and kill him dead.
Well, the date the suspect chose to attack was significant, being Independence Day.
Yes, it was indeed. I mean, it's like ironic that on the day that we celebrate independence and human rights, is that his right to carry an assault rifle seemed to trump people's rights to stay alive, which is just not fair. And I think that, of course, America needs to reevaluate that people's rights to live or for happiness is above that of anybody's right to carry a gun or to bring a gun in public.
And Lorianne, you've pointed out that even if parade attendees were carrying guns, they could not have stopped the mass shooter.
Yes, right. It's a false area or a false belief that's happening in America, is that instead of taking away assault rifles, which nobody needs an assault rifle, and we feel instead that people should be packing guns, and that the general public and our leaders, teachers, ministers, or people in religious places should be carrying a gun and shoot mass shooters before they kill lots of people. And that's putting, number one, that takes the blame away from the killers themselves and puts a big pressure on our leaders, or on school teachers, pastors, religious leaders, things like that. So it's mislaid.
And mental health screening won't stop mass shootings either.
No, there's a lot of people who would screen positive for depression or anxiety disorders. And, everybody will say this person had mental health issues because they cannot fathom somebody that went out and murdered a whole bunch of people who were unarmed and vulnerable. And so it'll appear to those people that he has mental health issues, when the reality is he has a personality disorder, and probably, something like narcissist psychopath or narcissist sociopath, meaning he has no empathy, he doesn't care about people, he can never be rehabilitated. And a personality disorder is very different than a mental health disorder. And we don't want to stigmatize people with mental health disorders any more than already they are.
A weapons assault ban could make a difference to the gun violence crisis we're seeing in the US, but there are many who are lobbying against it.
Right. That is too bad and unfortunate, because America had passed a federal assault weapons ban back in 1994, and it went through 2004. And during that time, it completely shaved off several mass shootings. And had they kept that policy in place, it probably would have prevented another 30 additional mass shootings between 2004 and 2019. That would have saved hundreds of people and thousands of injuries. And if America had acted like Australia, then we wouldn't be seeing this escalation of mass shootings, because in my research, and I think in other folks' research as well, that we find it not only does it stop the lethality during a mass shooting, but it stops the perpetrator from actually going to a mass shooting. Oftentimes, the last thing they do before walking into a mass shooting is picking up the assault rifle and the large capacity magazines.
The first bipartisan gun control bill in a generation was signed into law just last week. How effective is that in addressing the gun violence crisis that the US just continues to face?
Exactly. So here's the deal that, things that people are looking at like mental health. Of course, we should take care of mental health, but they're not going to be able to identify a mass shooter from that. I think like if people had been reported to the police or to the FBI that there's an individual who's posting very violent photos and having fantasies about, mass shootings, guns and deaths, and, posting videos about this, posting pictures of himself with an assault rifle, that's more telling than screening a person for mental health disorders.
Lorianne Post, good to get your expert views. Thanks for your time.
Thank you for asking. Yep.